They're easy pickings at the disco.
Yeah, we got a nice funky song this week. I'm your host of the Torchcast, Kip and this week we had a little bit of an issue with the audio at the front end of the show. So I am going to cut right into my interview with Andrew. To give you a little context of what we're talking about, there is a speaker coming to campus this next week named Ben Shapiro. He's a columnist and he is a speaker, and he's going to come and talk to us. So that's what I'm asking Andrew about right away. Thanks for listening to the show. So Andrew, tell me all about the event.
Well, it's going to be on February 6th, which is next Monday at 7 p.m. in the University Center, room 202. It is a 5-star, so if you need 5-star requirements for the semester, this is definitely the one to come to. It's going to be a lot different than the normal 5 stars we're used to. The unique thing about Ben's event is, I'll say a short bit about Ben. He's a conservative speaker. But the thing I really like about his events is that he speaks for about 35 minutes or so on his own, and then he opens the floor to question and answer. And Ben really, really strongly encourages people with opposing viewpoints who disagree with him to come and state their views and debate with him, and really to open that political discourse. And I think that's really, really important, and that's why I want to bring him here, is because I feel we're at a point in the country where the sides are kind of shutting each other out, and Ben, I think, really helps to facilitate that political dialogue. That being said, people with opposing viewpoints have to do their part and come and represent their views. If you just stand outside and protest, it doesn't do as much as if you actually come up, talk through your views, and try to work it out.
So as opposed to protesting people trying to gain knowledge and see a point of view, come in and share yours is a part of the event.
Right, and I don't see protests being a huge problem here. I'm just saying that, not like in California or U of M or anything like that. But if there were, I just want to say that, this is a great opportunity. We're not trying to shut out any viewpoints. I've been encouraging other groups with other viewpoints to come to this event. I really want them there. And I think this is, we're a country built on a system that requires people to talk about their views.
Yeah.
And if we lose that, who knows what will happen? Nothing good. So I'd really encourage people to come prepared with arguments. State your case, stand up for your views, and let the people decide. I think that's the best way to do it.
Ben, if you're listening, I'm looking for a job here. I can write, I can talk on a podcast. Maybe not as well as you, but I'm ready to learn.
Well, and you're hoping to maybe get a couple questions from Ben at the event, aren't you, Kip?
Working for the newspapers, you have to go cover events, and some of the events you don't mind covering because, you just go and you take notes and you ask people questions, and other events like this, nothing's going to stop me from going, but if I have to cover it, then I'm kind of in work mode, and I'd rather just enjoy it. So
I meant for this podcast or for the news, you're going to... You might want to ask him a couple questions.
If I have the opportunity to speak with him in a professional manner, then that'd be great. And maybe if I slip my resume to his assistant, that might be great too.
I'm just saying, so if people tune in next week sometime, then you might have a couple answers from Ben Shapiro on there.
Yeah, hopefully. And Ben, if you're listening, please, I need a job. All right, let's see. If there's anything else you want to talk about Ben Shapiro, now's the time, because then we'll go into news after this.
Well, I'd just say, posters are everywhere, signs are everywhere, so that means the date and time and location are everywhere. The event is free and open to the public. Feel free to bring all your friends from different schools. Community members is open to the community as well. We're really trying to make this a big event and open to everybody, so... please encourage everybody, to attend.
Yeah, I'm pumped. All right, so let's talk about the Super Bowl now. I was talking to Andrew before the show, and neither of us are really big football fans. But I wanted to discuss who we thought was going to win. It's New England Patriots versus the Atlanta Falcons. And I'm making my choice based solely off where would I rather live? And I have to go Atlanta.
Atlanta, huh?
Yeah.
It's closer to Florida, and I really, really do like Florida.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to have to just say Patriots, though, because I know that they tend to win all the time.
Yeah. Well, they deflate their footballs, and then they can throw them
that's
further
that's
and with greater accuracy.
I don't know why everybody doesn't do that.
I think Tom Brady should be in prison. 2 life terms, deflating footballs.
Yeah, Tom Brady for prison.
Yes,
26.
we're going to make hats. Tom Brady for prison. All right, let's see. In other news, so we have to get serious here for a second, Andrew, because let's see. A part-time Ferris employee killed his girlfriend and then killed himself. His name was Gabe. There's really not much else to say about it. It's a tragedy. He apparently was a pretty smart guy. He was part-time.
Graphics. He was like a graphics assistant at the media center.
So apparently he was a smart guy. People that knew him said he was kind of, a little bit kind of depressed, they would say, but no one thought he could be violent like this. So it's a shame. And anything else?
I worked with him a few times on a couple projects. And it's a little freaky now to think about it, but he knew Photoshop and all those editing tools backwards and forwards, and but I do agree that he seemed a little bit down all the time, but I just thought that's how he was.
Yeah.
Didn't really think anything.
It's really hard to distinguish between just somebody's personality and maybe a mental illness, but that sucks.
Yeah, it's a shock, but we'll move on.
All right, Eisler, President Eisler of the university, talked about the executive order by Obama.
Good one.
President Trump. So it's a ban on immigration from several countries, and since it's not really Ferris news, I'm not going to talk a whole lot about the ban. But Eisler didn't really say much about it, other than he, if the government requests immigration status from all of the students, then at that point they'll look at their legal options. But so far it hasn't happened. So really, he just said, "We'll see."
And I think part of his message was like, if any of the international students had any concerns, right, to talk to them. Which, so I just briefly saw the message. That's what I remembered.
Yeah. If you're an international student and you have any concerns about it, there are people to talk to. My advice for basically any situation is to remain calm.
Yep. As long as you're, going strong, following the law, nothing bad should happen.
All right. And politically, I would say that I'm not going to say whether I support the ban or not, but it's been done before by Barack Obama, Bill Clinton, and I just don't remember any outrage. I mean, Bill Clinton, granted, I wasn't really politically woke yet, if I can coin a phrase. That phrase has been coined.
I know what you mean.
But it's always funny to see the selectiveness of some folks.
Well, like the whole respect the democracy, don't even think about challenging the presidency, is what they were saying before the election, and then after the election, it's all Russia was hacking. We should do the popular vote instead.
Right. Yeah, it's very selective.
No, I'm not saying it's only for one side, but
Absolutely
it's
not.
Been pretty prevalent on one side lately.
And circling back to Shapiro, it's worth noting that he was actually a never Trumper. If you listen to his podcast or any of his articles before the election, he was an opponent of Trump. So he's a conservative, and he's got a unique view in that he wasn't a Trump supporter. So
he wasn't a Trump supporter, and he gives his reasons why. I think he's a really honest guy, is what I've taken from him, and he, he'll give his opinions on what he likes about what Trump's doing, and he'll say what he doesn't like Trump's doing. So.
And I think that's really where a lot of his credibility comes from, is that he's not dogmatic towards any view.
Yeah, he sticks to his principles,
right?
And he doesn't sway due to just his opinion or whatever.
Right. All right, so let's get into crimes of the week. We had a marijuana complaint in Kramer that turned out to be a false alarm. And then, interestingly, there was a marijuana complaint in Clark that was also a false alarm. So I was wondering what would make that happen. I think a skunk was loose at Ferris, ran from Kramer to Clark.
Oh, could be. Yeah, they're a big problem.
Yeah. I remember there was a skunk when I lived in McNerney that must have sprayed right outside of my window. Because it was pungent.
Wow.
But so I'm happy to hear that there was false alarms this week instead of real alarms, because Kramer has really been disappointing me on the marijuana agenda lately. And you don't hear much about Clark, but you do once in a while. And when you do, I guess it's a false alarm.
Man, when you're right, I mean, has Kramer been getting marijuana?
So many.
They're right across from DPS.
I know. We've been talking about this every week on the podcast, like the amount of marijuana complaints in the halls, and Kramer has really taken a step forward in the amount of complaints. And McNerney and Brophy used to be the trouble areas, and now Kramer.
Really? Well, I mean, probably more convenient for the police. They just have to take a few steps across the sidewalk.
Exactly. But all right, let's see. Ex-boyfriend was harassing ex-girlfriend. That's all I got on that. It makes the breakup easier when the boyfriend's a douche.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Because you're upset, but then it turns out to be a bad guy. So now you don't miss him.
Yeah, it works out great.
Let's see. Stabbing in Apple Ridge Apartments. Bummer.
Where's Apple Ridge?
It's I'm guessing. So I think it's behind the marathon, like a little down the road a little ways.
Okay.
I don't like the name Apple Ridge.
What don't you like about it?
I don't know. Aesthetically, it bothers me.
You don't like the fruit?
I like apples, but what about a ridge on an apple is worth naming an apartment complex after?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it was a really beautiful ridge.
Yeah, or maybe there's a place in the country called Apple Ridge, and it's named that because there's a bunch of apples, and it's geographically it's on a ridge.
That would make sense.
Maybe. All right, there's a little scuffle at the sports complex. That I'm trying to remember. I think they sent it to the prosecutor's office. There was a time in our country where people could just get in a little rumble, and you wouldn't be in jail. I'm not condoning fights or assaults, but
I know what you mean.
Does everyone have to go to jail for everything?
I know. It's even if you breathe on somebody the wrong way, you can get thrown in for assault. It's
a lot of litigious folks.
It's all this, don't you touch me or I'll sue you, that kind of stuff. It gets on my nerves.
There was a yelling match in Lot 38. They didn't go to jail for this. They were just told to quiet down.
What were they yelling about?
I'm not sure. The crimes of the week are always a little bit. It's just like a list of stuff that happened, so it's never a full article about it.
Maybe you'd have the inside scoop.
I know. Whenever I don't know somebody, people say, "Oh, you work for the newspaper. You don't know." Well, yeah, I work for the newspaper, but I just do my assignments, and I keep my ear to the ground, but I can't know everything.
I picture you, sneaking around campus at night with your little notepad and trying to find all the news scoops. Yeah, well, you'd be wrong, because normally at night I'm compressing by doing homework or reading. But maybe Ben Shapiro, if you're listening, I am always looking for the next scoop. Yeah, he could give you some scoops. I think that's a cool job, writing columns, because as opposed to finding out a news story and then reporting on it, just the facts, he gets to find a news story and then share how he feels about it. Yeah, he's got a neat job, and he's got a big audience for it too, and especially touring campuses and talking to college students about something that he loves to talk about. And he's really doing a service for the country and the students too. I mean, he's got the life. Yeah, and I can't even imagine how busy he is. Oh, I know, but he's got the life. But I bet it's tough because you got to be up to date on every single current event. There's a certain wiring that people have that are able to do that. Just constantly on the go. And he's got kids. He went to law school. He went at Harvard. I mean, he's just an insanely smart and hardworking guy. But I heard him on Adam Carolla is my favorite podcast, the Adam Carolla Show. He was on that. He was super funny on that, and I'm jealous of him that he got to go be on the Adam Carolla Show. I know Adam Carolla from I actually saw him on Celebrity Apprentice. That's where I know him from. And he was pretty funny on there, so I'll have to check out his show. It's so good. He was also on the Man Show. It was, I think, the late 90s that the Man Show aired. You can't really, I don't know if anyone remembers that show, but you could not make that show nowadays. I don't know the show. It was very politically incorrect. Oh. It was very funny, though. Yeah, it must have made it funny. Yeah, let's see. It's the Year of the Rooster, article by Matthew Miller. The lunar year is an important celebration of the Chinese calendar, and this year is the Year of the Rooster. I actually stumbled upon that Lunar New Year celebration in the IRC the other day. They're playing drums? Yeah, I was just I was walking around campus, actually putting up signs for the Shapiro event, And I walked into the IRC, and there's a bunch of free Chinese food. So I was like,
Awesome.
hey.
Was it authentic, or was it serving orange chicken at the...
No, it was a little more on the authentic side than the stuff in the UC.
Yeah.
It was stuff you'd more likely get in like a Chinese restaurant.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had some. I sat down for a little bit, watched the drummers. So it was convenient.
Really cool.
Yeah.
Here comes the rooster, as they say.
Yeah.
Here, cut.
Yeah, here come the rooster. Yeah.
And we're back. I like adding songs to Torchcasts now. I think that there's some comedic value to cutting from talking to music and then back to talking. I just added Here Comes the Rooster. See, we don't add them in real time. I go back and then add them, so Andrew has no idea what I'm talking about right now. But I'm adding Here Comes the Rooster by Audio Slave, maybe? I can't remember who it's by.
I don't know.
Stone Temple Pilots? It's one of those 90s bands.
I don't know any 90s bands.
Okay. You're more of a jazz guy, and so am I.
Yeah,
What is
I'm
it?
too old school.
What do you think Ben Shapiro likes in terms of music?
You know, actually, I was planning on asking him that. I don't know. I know there's a video of him on YouTube playing violin when he was like a kid.
Of course.
And he was playing the theme from Schindler's List.
Oh,
As far as modern music goes, I don't know what he likes. We'll have to ask him.
He's in all those. People edit his like speeches, so it's the Ben Shapiro Thug Life thing, where like he'll have a really good response to somebody's question, or he'll shut someone down, as they say, and they'll put like a snapback hat backwards and like a goblet in his hand and a joint in his mouth, and it'll play like Snoop Dogg or something. I wonder if he likes that. Yeah. Dr. Dre. Someone asked him about it, or no, he was talking about it on one of his podcasts about the Thug Life thing, and he was very adamant. And he's like, "People, they put a joint in my mouth. I've never smoked marijuana." Like, he's really funny.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. He's like, he doesn't care if people smoke or whatever, but he's like, I hate people that smoke. They drive me crazy.
I'm the same way, really, because I don't think it necessarily should be illegal, but when you come across somebody who smokes a lot of marijuana, they're not normally the most intelligent people.
But if you don't agree with that and you want to defend it, come to the event on Monday and debate Ben Shapiro.
How do you debate that, though? You get up on stage, I smoke a lot of weed and I'm very smart. You don't want to shout that in front of a crowd.
I encourage you to do it. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, I encourage it as well. And also, bring a lot of questions about... He's a pro-life guy. So that's one of the big things, because him against the vagina monologues, which are coming to Ferris. So it's actually $5 too to get into that event.
Ours is free.
I know, exactly, as opposed to the free Ben Shapiro event. So we have to choose one. Why don't you choose the free one? Anyway, as opposed to that, and opposed to, they made us go to my freshman year, a 5-star, where a guy came and talked about abortion, and was you don't hear a lot of pro-life speakers on campuses.
Oh, I didn't remember that talk. Well, you were a freshman before I was, but
okay, yeah, they. Because you have to take the FSUS class, or at least most majors do, and we had to go to all the 5-star events, and one of them was about they billed it as sexual health or whatever, but it was pretty much all about abortion.
Oh, well, this is the other side now.
Yeah.
And if you don't agree with it, come debate it.
Yep. So I have here a couple of opinions, and we have time to get to them. So do you want to do a couple of these?
Sure.
All right. First one: are we using cell phones too much?
Yes, I've like when I do my speeches in communications class, or I have to write papers in English class, that's always one of the topics I go to is being on cell phones too much. It drives me crazy when I'm in the Rock or the UC, and I look around me, and there's all these tables of kids sitting together, and it's silent because they're all just looking down at their phones, and it drives me insane. It's one of my biggest pet peeves. Yeah,
I have friends that are on their cell phone so much, like I can hang out with them every day and still feel like I haven't talked to him in a while.
I know.
It's you're, even if you're kind of listening or whatever, it's like a distance between people.
Yeah, well, they're not completely there, and that it's so refreshing when you get somebody who doesn't have their phone with them or something, because then it's just a normal conversation.
Yeah, I actually look forward to these Torchcasts where I sit down with somebody and my phone's on, but it's just using the timer, and we're actually talking. It's It's actually so rare to be able to hang out with your friends when nobody's just, on their phone. And going to the movies or something like that, people are always on their phones. It's like, it's an epidemic, really.
Right, I know, and it's a little scary because, I mean, people are losing the art of conversation. They're not as good at public speaking. I mean, there's been studies on it and all that. And, I mean, who knows, even the effects, there's potential effects of the screen on your eyes.
Right. Well, there was talk about brain cancer if you're, like, talking on your cell phone too much. I'm Snapchatting right now, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, so who knows what can happen, but everything can kill you, so. But the main thing that I don't like is just the distraction aspect. People sitting there who should be talking, especially like a guy and his girlfriend or something like that. And it's just like, or even parents at the restaurants and they just give their kid an iPad or something.
Yeah, that's the most concerning to me is the iPads. Because every kid has an iPad.
With the kid and I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty concerning to me, at least in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. It's good and bad in terms of there's a lot you can learn from having an iPad. Like there's learning software and stuff like that for kids that get them in elementary schools. I mean, there's probably some potential there, but it's concerning in that you want to be able to interact with human beings.
Right, and I am curious at how much those learning softwares actually work because, I mean, you watch some of these shows, like, I mean, we're the digital generation.
Mm-hmm.
We have all this stuff, and you watch some of these shows like, who's the guy that, Water's World. He goes around and talks to random people. We don't know anything. So I don't know where all that knowledge is going. But
I want to be interviewed for Water's World because I feel like most of those questions, I would say probably 85% of the questions he asks, I know.
Right. I would feel so great. I'd be a legendary cast member.
We saw Waters at CPAC last year. He was going around asking people stuff, and I'm just like looking like, please come ask me.
He was actually, I heard when I was at the inauguration, he was like right in my area, but I didn't even know it. I heard afterwards.
Yeah, I forgot you went. How was that? Was that fun?
Yeah, it was really cool. I drove down Wednesday night. Well, no, I drove home Wednesday night from school, and I left Thursday morning. Got down there in the afternoon. And then I met some friends down there. And on Inauguration Day, we got up at 3 a.m. We got into D.C. at 4 and, walked around. We had some good tickets, but then our friend, who's down there too, he got better tickets for us. So we spent the day trying to chase him down, which is difficult because all the roads are blocked off everywhere. So we were trying to chase him down. Finally got the tickets. Long story short, got there just in time. And saw the inauguration. It was great. And then I was lucky. I hung around the Capitol afterwards. Everyone else left. And I was still in the secure area where the Secret Service had checked me and all that. And I realized the parade was coming right through there. So I was like right in the front for the parade too. That's cool. So I watched that.
That's cool. I watched it on TV in my apartment.
I debated it, but I figured since I had tickets, it was once in a lifetime.
It's one of those things. If you have the opportunity to go, you should go because you're witnessing history.
Yeah, and I'm glad I did.
Yeah.
The stupidest part about the whole thing, you'd think it'd be expensive in D.C. or something. Mm-hmm. The most expensive part of that trip for me was the tolls to get down there.
Yeah, I know.
I took $20 to get me out of Ohio and into Pennsylvania.
It's brutal. But it's fun, though. I'm glad you went.
Yeah, I am, too.
All right. I think we're out of time here. So, Andrew, thanks so much for coming on.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me, Kip.
And thanks so much for putting on this event. I'm really looking forward to it, and I think it'll be a great thing for Ferris to have.
Yeah, everybody again, February 6th, which is next Monday, 7 p.m. in the University Center, room 202. If you want a good seat, I'd get there a little bit early, and it should be a great time. Come prepared with questions.
Yeah, all right. Thanks again, Ferris, for listening. Everyone like and share, and we'll see you again next week.